The richest Americans of all time all started out as small business owners. They went from SMB to industry tycoon, and here's how you can apply the principles that got them there. John D. Rockefeller was born poor in rural New York. He started his career as a bookkeeper at the age of 16. He learned how to track costs meticulously. He learned to treat every dollar like it was the last. When his peers all chased riches and drilling, he chased steady earnings through refining, which he thought was the true bottleneck in that system. He was relentless at focusing on cost, driving them lower and lower. He used this to take over competing refineries and just continue to hammer down costs. By doing that, he cut the cost from refining a barrel of oil from $3 to $1.50 and dominating his competition. And he was a genius at seeing value where others saw waste. He hated waste, and every byproduct of the refining process was examined by all of his chemists and engineers to see if they had a commercial use. They found markets for lubricants, paraffin wax, and eventually gasoline, which originally gasoline was just a byproduct of the kerosene refining process, where often it was just burned or discarded into the lakes or the rivers. But when the automobile emerged in the 1890s, Rockefeller was perfectly positioned to service that market. The lessons here are to relentlessly track waste and, most importantly, to know your numbers. If you run a restaurant, you should know the cost of that sandwich down to a tenth of the penny. If you own a company that installs pools, you should know the cost to install that pool down to the dollar. Focus on one thing at a time and find a way to drive down the cost of that one thing. You can do this by shopping new vendors or looking at your processes. Is there something in this process that doesn't need to exist? Can I simplify my process? And one example, in one of the restaurants that we own, we had a lot of meals came with a biscuit on the side. We noticed that a lot of people weren't eating the biscuit. So our partner who's operating that business just said, well, why don't we ask people if they want it? And then you find out about 30% of the customers didn't want it. So boom, there's a 30% reduction in the biscuit cost. It's not a major item on its own, but those types of actions really compound over time. This really isn't rocket science. The trick is just to go through the list, pick one thing, be relentless about reducing the costs of that one thing, that one process. And once you've done that, go to the next one. And then once you've gone through everything in your business, you just start from scratch. This process never stops. It's continuous. Follow us for more about America's richest and our favorite topic of buying businesses.